Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, kicking it down here with Coachmen today, getting you some updated footage on, if we're going to simplify this, okay, yep, we're going with that. It's a 30-foot bunkhouse camper that's potentially half-ton towable and a private true queen bedroom up front. Like, those are the quick base qualities. If you're looking for that, this camper has it. Now, let's go beyond that. The weights and measures will generally boil down to be half-ton towable, but as a result, it doesn't have the world's greatest cargo carrying capacity, so that's something that you're going to want to look at to make sure you're not going to overload this thing. It's got import tires, but wide stance stability axles to enhance the towing and tire pressure monitoring to give you some peace of mind. Walkable roof with a ladder built right on from the factory, which is nice. It's prepped for things like a rear accessory hitch if you want to bolt one on and not have to screw up your warranty and add a bike rack. We are taller inside at 6'9". We have a true queen bedroom up front with a nice sliding privacy door. Double over double bunks. It doesn't have a full-on cargo bunkhouse door on the back, but the bottom bunk can fold up for a little bit of a bunk cargo situation. We've got double Asdel walls. We have aluminum framing, vacuum laminated walls, an aluminum perimeter roof so that they marry up nicely, and a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood floor deck. So generally speaking, the build is something that's pretty well proven to last pretty well. We've got an outside griddle kind of cooker situation, plus a little mini camp kitchenette. But because of their positioning, the RV doesn't have the world's greatest awning coverage. So sometimes the things that are included prevent them from including something else. Like, we have a heated enclosed belly, but they're not going to sit here and pretend like this is something where you can camp in Alaska in December. That's not what this kind of camper is. This is a spring, summer, fall extended season rig. It's something where if you got a later model tow package half-ton, you want to take your family out for a little bit, spend most of your time on the roads or in the parks, this is a beautiful rig for that kind of situation. So we're going to go through it. I want to hear from you. What do you like and what do you dislike? And if you appreciate the fair points that we point out, hit that subscribe button and let's go. So starting right from the door, because that seems like a very good place to start. If you go look at this RV in person, this is kind of the point of view that you're going to look at here. This is what I call a true U dinette, where it's like 7 foot long. They've gone with the elliptical base on that floating dining table. So if you do want to like scoot the table out and get around it, you can. Now keep in mind, a quote floor flush slide on that rack and pinion slide like we're looking at right here isn't technically floor flush. So if you push the table too far out of the slide, it's going to go thunk and kind of tip a little bit. And if you got drinks and stuff on it, it's going to fall down. You might notice how the slide floor doesn't have carpet. And the flooring doesn't have vents in it, so it's about as easy cleaning as it can get. This RV feels a little bit bigger than some of the other builders who make a version of this, though, because it is. It's a little bit taller inside. Your industry average is 6'6", 6.5 foot tall. This is 6'9". It's 3 extra inches tall, or whatever that works out into meters. Right now, our Canadian folks are getting a little bit of a chuckle. One of the jokes that they like to use is that Americans will use anything but the metric system. So basically, the ceiling in this is a half banana taller than industry standard. Anyway, working our way around here. It's not the world's biggest oven, but they actually did include an oven. A lot of manufacturers simply don't include any oven whatsoever in there. And all of our cabinetry is pocket screwed and lumber core. What that means is real screws into wood. It's not held together exclusively by staples in your imagination. Where are the power outlets? Okay, so we have some power outlets over there on the wall. Oh, I forgot to ignite a couple lights. And I don't think I've talked about this. For the 2025 season, Freedom Express actually brought back something they used to use, touch sensitive lighting. It's not click lighting. It just, you just kind of whoop. There you go. I've noticed sometimes you got to kind of really sweet spot it, but for the most part, they seem to work pretty well. And they do almost an amazing job of a kitchen wraparound backsplash. Like, you notice how it starts over there by the sink, and it actually is a backsplash. And then they quit right beside the stovetop, right where you want to prevent the bacon grease from splattering around. We no longer have a side splash. I have heard from so many different manufacturers, well, it's hard for production to do those. I don't care. I don't care if it's hard. It's not easy doing videos the way that I do it, opening every single cabinet compartment and closing up the slides and wrestling with every piece of furniture. I don't do what I do because it's easy. I do what I do because I think it's a better way of doing it. And I would not be opposed to RV manufacturers who kind of went about the same thing. Now, you might notice how your slide side window here opens for airflow. That's great. If you do want to kind of block everything off, though, you do have some roller shades that you can pull down to kind of really blot everything out right there. Now, this is called the ash decor. It's the only decor I've seen from Freedom Express in 2025. I don't know if they even intend to have a second decor, but this is the decor that we're looking at right here today, just to kind of give you a reference point in case a couple different options are available. Now, I'm kind of noticing the location of that thermostat is going to be covered up by the slide fascia, or by the whole slide out when it closes. Some people really don't like that for travel stop reasons. It's not the kind of thing that bothers me, but the way that I camp, that's not an issue. Maybe the way you camp it is. So I still want to take some time to point that out. I don't feel that my version of camping is the version of camping. This is a smart TV, by the way. The sticker even tells us that in case I was too stupid to remember, which I think I kind of was. Now, down below, you see some household and USB plugs kind of below the bunk level right there, which seems like a little bit of an unconventional location, but I also think potentially a very functional location. And we have a basic version of a flip-up cargo bunk. Now, it doesn't have a rear door. You might notice that there's this angled piece of paneling down here. What that's telling me is because you have the camp kitchen with a real sink and drain, they had to run water to it, so they had to run water lines down there. So we don't get a whole door on the back. You know, there's going to be other builders who might give you a whole door in the back, and I bet their camp kitchens don't have water service run to them. So it's a push and a pull, you give and you get kind of situation. I love how even the bunk windows open for airflow. You've got outlets over here for this bunk as well. Ooh, I see the cargo rating sticker. That's 300-pound bunk rating, by the way. Whenever I see those, I try to announce that. Some manufacturers have inconsistent bunk rating, so if I can't see it, I don't usually like to assume unless I know the brand exceptionally well. This right here, though, kind of like a toy hauler, they do these blackout kind of shade covers that just roll down over the windows and snap in place. What I like about that is they're snapped right to the wall. There's really not a whole lot for the kids to try to accidentally kick in their sleep. You know, some kids flop around. My daughter flops around a lot when she sleeps. I think I do sometimes, and you know, they don't have a habit of accidentally ripping stuff off the wall as a result. So we've got the general gist of the layout. Let's open everything up and go a little layer deeper. But, you know, before I forget, that is a 15,000 BTU air conditioner. This RV is 30 amp service by default, 30 amp service by default, 15,000 BTU air conditioner. You can option in, give you a little size reference, I'll toss my hat up there. You can option on 50 amp service and with second air prep, or actually get the second air installed. So that is an option that you have here. Now, if you notice, there's a hanging rack up in here. Well, that shelf can remove. If you want to, this pantrytainment center could also double as a little bit of storage. Now, I don't know if it showed on camera, but part of the reason I'm kind of sliding around is I had to use my shoes to hold the pantrytainment door open, and my socks are sliding all over this floor. And that's why sometimes when I do my Murphy bed footage, I've got dirty socks, because I'm walking around campers all day because I use my shoes like a doorstop. The bottom drawer, you might notice, isn't as deep as the other ones. That's because you've got some heat ducting and stuff running behind the kitchen cabinet space right there. That is a big stainless farm sink. It's got two of the rollaway dish drying rack covers. I just only have one out for display. Handy little cup sprayer right there. Up top here, pretty conventional microwave, not a convection or anything like that. Convection and convention, those are one of those things that autocorrect, or as I like to call autocorrupt, loves to corrupt on people when they leave me messages. The RV being taller means they had an opportunity for bigger overhead cabinets, but notice the overhead shelf doesn't actually come all the way out. That way you have, you know, you can still pack small stuff up there, and that shelf has a nice lip to it, but you can also pack some taller stuff, so they kind of give you a best of both worlds situation. You might notice a sliding privacy door there for the bedroom. We do have a 12-volt compressor fridge over here, 10 cubic foot variety with the lower freezer drawer. I think Freedom Express still offers a gas electric two-way swaption. Last I knew they did. Our local, oops, I kicked the ladder for the bunk behind me. Last I knew they still offer that. But this is kind of newer here. They've included full drawers below the dinette, but look at the rear bench. they have sliding access panels there so you don't have to tear apart the entire stupid thing to get to it. And of course, that can fold down into a larger sleeper. Now, this is a rack and pinion slide, so while you're traveling, nobody should be occupying that. You can leave the fridge packed, you can leave the storage packed. They plan for that. They don't plan for people in rack and pinion slides. That can ruin stuff. And I'll also tell you, I'll show you later, but I will tell you right now, when you close the slide, we're going to lose the bedroom for road mode. Something I want to point out, I don't do a good job of demonstrating this. The way that they do their underbed storage, yes, you can lift the bed, but you don't have to. The drawers, the storage opens to you, so you don't have to wrestle that queen bed. And that is a queen bed. That's a real true 60 by 80, honest to goodness American queen bed right there. So if you don't love the factory backbreaker death wafer, you can get yourself a better mattress of your choosing. And keep in mind, 50 amp service is available on these, but not standard. You can either check the plug on the outside of the RV, or you can see if it has a little sticker by the vent. If you see the sticker, that's telling you it's 50 amp service. Notice how they give you full overhead cabinet space here, and they actually give us nice doors that hold them open. I love that. They also do something I really like. I call it the headboard power pocket situation, where you've got these double shelves over here right by the headboard area of the bed, and in that lower pocket, there's actually a set of household outlets. Now, over here on the face side of things, there are both households and USBs, and I'll give you a look at one of those in just a second. First and foremost, though, show you this really awesome bed lift system. It's gas strutted, it's simple, it's easy. Now, depending on what replacement mattress you get, if you choose to go that route, some of them might be a little too heavy for those struts, so you may need to look at upgrading those. It just depends on what you do. Both side stands here, both of these dresser drawers, they have little flip-flop shops down below them, and the middle section's wide open. So whether you're going to use that for a laundry basket or extra duffel bags or totes or whatever the case might be, you've got opportunities there. And like I said, you do have some household and some USB plugs on both sides of the bed. Another thing that's easy to overlook, the fact that they actually still include the roller shades here in the bedroom. A lot of manufacturers, once you leave the living room, you will actually experience a downgrade in window treatments or something like that, because a lot of people focus so much on the living room when they're buying an RV that they forget about the bedroom until they go to actually use the RV. And by that point, your money's spent and it's too late. Moving on over here to the bathroom, we are a taller ceiling, which means we have a taller shower. And as you can see on the right side of the screen, my head does not have to be up in the bubble toil and trouble to use that. It's actually really cool. If you're taking a shower at night, the way that this one worked out, you still have that Tron lightsaber light right above your head, so you can actually see what you're doing in the evening. And once you're done showering, you do have a handy little place here where your towels can dry off. I made the mistake earlier of letting go one of those, and it goes thwack and really cracks shut awful hard. You do have a corner medicine cabinet here, so it's not just a mirror on the wall. I actually like how all of this is angle mounted, kind of focusing inward into the room. It just kind of works a little bit better. Now, the toilet is porcelain. It is foot flush, and it is fairly fluffy friendly. I had absolutely no problems around that there whatsoever. Now, what I can't remember is when we close the slide out, is the bathroom door able to clear the slide fascia? I think it does. And yes, it does. It clears rather nicely. So the bathroom will remain travel functional. You can get to the bunks. You can reach the dinette. Again, you shouldn't be sitting or sleeping in it while it's retracted like this. And you can get to the majority of the kitchen space. So if you need to make a quick potty stop, if you need to feed the little rugrats before you pack them into the racks, you can. Hold on. That refrigerator, they mounted all the way forward in the slide. Oh, I am glad I checked. Yeah, I'm not going to count that as refrigerator access in transit. I don't think that qualifies. So let me ask you, they could slide the refrigerator back to give it more ability to open, because there is some dead space back there. But theoretically, you might bonk your head by walking into the slide out. But remember, Freedom Express is taller and has a taller slide. I personally think they should slide the refrigerator back, but that's just my opinion. And it doesn't mean that my way or the highway. It's just that's the way that I look at it. But Hey, you know what? We're learning stuff. That's why I still take the time to close these things up and check them out in road mode, because I see so many RVs, I can't remember them all by pure rote memory. So if you appreciate the effort, tack the little like button and leave me notes to say thanks, nerd. And while you're taking a second look at the brochure weights and measures over on the left side of the screen, I want to volunteer the fact this specific camper that we're looking at was built and scaled out to weigh 6,372 pounds. That might vary just slightly. So trying to help give you that real world estimation of what you might look at. A lot of times the brochure weights are pretty reliable, but sometimes they take a little bit of a liberty, if you know what I mean. Let's start. Well, what does this RV have? Let's not talk about that. Let's move on from here. Power tongue jack up front. Double propane tanks. It's 20 pounders. You know, they do 20-pound tanks instead of 30. So if it's Sunday, you can go to the gas station and exchange them if you need to. You do have a battery disconnect up front, and that yellow thing right there, that's actually the relay for your tire pressure monitoring system, which is all factory standard on this. There's room up front for a couple batteries, and by default, this RV is plug and play solar prepped. They don't really have factory solar. They have a 200-watt factory solar option. But that's the thing. Remember in the video began, I said, if this is something you want to mostly tow down the highways and mostly camp in parks, you're going to love it. Which is probably one of the reasons that I really like Freedom Express RVs, because that's exactly how I camp. I am a park pavement princess. Like over here on these little stone pads that we're looking at, that's like one of the most primitive styles of camping that I personally go through. You know, criticize me if you want, but yeah, when I go camping, I just want the convenience. We just want to get away from everything and have a little bit of a fun kind of, you know, weekend. Tip to tail, it's technically a couple inches shorter. We're just going to call it a 30-foot camper, and that's including tongue and bumper. So if you budget 30-foot worst case scenario, you're going to be okay. They've got a really nicely sized front passer on this. I think it's like 47 cubic foot of storage or something crazy. And you see that brown box stored up away in the ceiling? That's actually the picnic table that's included with this. Now, I took the liberty of leaving the box there and grabbing one from one of the other RVs so you can see both where it stores and how it actually functions. And that kind of leads us to what's going on over here on the camp side of the RV. The awning space isn't awful. I like how the awning clearly covers the entry door, and it does cover the camp kitchen. But because the RV also includes this handy little griddle setup, and because they couldn't quite fit the griddle and the side table over here above the tires without interfering with the door, they had to find a place to position it that, as it turns out, really kind of eats into potential awning space. So because of the whole griddle thing, we don't get the world's biggest awning. Again, though, I don't know. I don't think it's bad. I think there's still room for the picnic table under that, and I'm okay with it. This is, by the way, a gas and electric water heater. It's weird. Some of the Freedom Expresses use different water heaters. This one's gas and electric. I wonder if that's a transitional thing. I haven't noticed any sort of trend that would indicate why they would do what they do. The wide stance stability axles right here are another one of those things that will help with towing. It will make the RV bounce and wiggle less in transit. That is not a replacement for a weight distribution anti-sway hitch, mind you. It's just a nice supplemental towing enhancement. Now, the little blue box that was on top of that picnic table, that's your tire pressure monitor. It's included right there, factory standard. And I like what they did here. I think having a fridge and a real sink with a real drain outside are two of the most useful things in RVs. One of the things I want to give you a cautionary tale on, though, if you do your own winterizations, the number one thing I see people forget is outside showers and outside sinks. So many people forget to winterize those things and end up creating their own integrated leak factory come summertime. Oh, I'm glad I walked around here. I noticed they had a set of power outlets against that divide, but I'm like, well, if they have that galvanized rolled steel enclosure, how do you get to it? Well, they added a little cutaway, so you have a handy little phone pocket out there, or a little Bluetooth charger or something like that. You got the, apparently we got the authorities are coming to get, you hear the cops, guys? My ride's here. You saw the, I swear, lately here, every time I record a video, there's planes, trains, and automobiles making all kinds of racket. I just can't quite catch a break. Anyway, ladder. Let's talk about the ladder. It's got a walkable roof, and it's a 250-pound rated ladder built right on from the factory. It's backup camera prepped, but frankly, you can slap a backup camera on any RV, whether it's prepped or not. Like, this RV doesn't specifically have slide awning prep brackets. You could put slide awnings on this if you want to. Just the factory doesn't apply warranty to work that they didn't personally do. But one of the interesting little things here is they did do a prep in a way that does allow you to do something without screwing up your warranty. They put these handy little brackets on the back here that if you want to add a little receiver hitch on the back for like bike racks and stuff, you do have the ability to. What? Huh. Okay, well, I just discovered something as I kneeled down here. This is a two-headed sewer monster. This is what I call the poop hydra. You've got bathroom black and gray outlets back here, and then you have a kitchen gray outlet in front of the slide. Now, I'm going to walk around to verify this. It looks like neither of these are located under a slide out, so neither of them will be difficult to access. And I do like, for the most part, how your hookups are really located all right there in that rear corner. Kind of like this, you know, we're in a sort of park camping scenario right now, and it really drives home why that's really useful. Did you notice, though? Look at the graphics, and look how they persist along the slide face, the slide sides. Wow! That's not normal. That's not a thing brands normally do, and I love that little item right there. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Obviously not a terribly original floor plan, but what do you think of their version of it, their execution of it? To help you make that decision, I'll leave you some links in the description to check for pricing and availability, and I'll see if I can't dig up a couple other 30-foot bunk models for you to take a look at, and leave some links in the description, and you decide which one works best for you, you know, or not, whatever you feel like doing. Maybe you're tired of listening to me, like my wife. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.